I write every day, and I've been writing that every day. It's a column now, for a while, and every day I don't know where it will go. I don't. They call it in the newspaper business. They call it the daily miracle for a reason, because you sit
Mm.
down, you don't know what you're going to start with, and you're going to follow the muse, and you follow it to the end. And if you try to guide it, you'll ruin it. You have to go with, I believe, this is just my own personal belief. You have to go with like what he said, with what the inspiration is taking you, and you can't analyze it, you can't control it, and you can't put a constrictive framework onto it, because if you do, you've already ruined it. For me, improvisation,
Yeah.
it feels like you're improvising, like a jazz solo almost, is something on a much deeper
Yeah.
level. I believe that what's really happening is, I believe your intuition from probably God Himself is speaking to you, and lifting your fingertips, if you will, if you write
It's
that way. For me, it's important to, and this is again, that's my dog, so you're going to enjoy that. Uh, the they're having a power struggle right over here over who's the alpha dog. It's important for me when I'm done writing something like that, especially if it's done any good for anybody, to immediately move on and not focus on the writing, not look back at it, not attach myself to it, because I'm not in that. I'm just I'm just the fingers in that part of the equation. I didn't do anything. I'm not. Uh, it would be like getting real obsessed over the pen that wrote, War and Peace. Like, wow, what a pen that was! Wow, what a great pen! Gee whiz, what a beautiful pen! And it's important for me to let it go. Like one morning, I woke up, and I get up early. I write, and I think I was on the road. We were in some other state, and I wrote, and in my writing was taking me to this topic of suicide, which is a big theme of my writing anyway. But this one was more pointed than normal. This was way more pointed and more directed towards somebody. And I thought, God, maybe I'm just going crazy. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And I put it out there. And not very long after that, maybe like minutes after, maybe 15 minutes or so, I got an email back from someone who's on the list, who she was in the process of, about to kill herself. Uh, it had hit her right where she needed to be hit, and mentally, I guess. And she went and asked for help, and she's still alive. She's still. Uh, it's important for me to remove myself from the equation of that. It's important for me not to get too attached to what just happened, because it's not. It's not me. It's not. It's not. I have nothing. I really have nothing to do with it. And I don't know why I'm offering that to you, but but it will it frees me up even more to know that I'm not responsible for the outcome of it, and I'm not responsible for. I don't deserve any praise for it either. So
Mm.
it's kind of, I don't know.
Would you say
Again,
there's ever a temptation, Sean, um, not to do that? How tempting is it to go and fiddle with it, or
it's tempting in many ways to. Well, I face a few temptations when I'm writing. If I feel a strong urge to write one thing that I know I kind of need to write, and I feel the writing going there. Just this morning, I was feeling it. I was writing about something that it was taking me one place, and I kind of wanted to write about something else. I kind of wanted to write something a little more lighthearted and humorous. But what came out was not that, and I just have to trust that that's where it was supposed to go. Even and that's kind of letting go of some ego. My ego would really want to be perceived as something else. I want to be perceived as a humorous guy today, or I want to be perceived as this, or I want whatever. The ego gets involved and screws everything up. The temptation to to alter it is there. The temptation to accept uh, applause for it is there. Your vanity wants validation. Uh, and the temptation to accept criticism for it is there. That's an even bigger one. I meet a lot of writers who come up to me and they say, I wrote something, I want you to criticize it and pick it apart and tell me what you'd change and what you say. Well, you talking to the wrong guy. I will never do that to you. I would never do that to you, because that was between you and the page, and you and God. That had nothing to do with me. My taste and my personal preference should have no bearing on what you're writing. I know how hard this stuff is. I know how hard it is to do this. You're all you're going to get out of me is you're awesome. And if it's not particularly awesome writing, you're still going to hear it, because you are awesome. And the fact that you trusted yourself enough to go forward and write this is amazing. It's hard. So that's how I feel. I don't criticize anybody's work.
Thanks for saying that. This is a feedback group, so it's kind of antithetical to what you're saying, but I think there's got to be a way to integrate the truth of what you're saying into, okay, what about editing? What about feedback? What about beta readers? Things like that, especially when it comes to big, hard things to put together like books, which I know you've done a lot of.
Well, like I wrote a book that and this is early on, and I asked for a lot of feedback on it. Please give me feedback. I didn't really know any better, and I did. I got a lot of feedback, and they wanted me to change it, change this, change that, change this, change that. I did. I changed this. I changed that. I changed this, changed that. It doesn't even resemble the same book as what I wrote. Then publishers were asking me what if I had something I could offer them. They contacted me, and I sent them the book that I had altered and changed to please so many different people, and they didn't like it. I said, well, here, let me just try this. I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but let me send you the first 3 chapters of the way it used to be. So I went back and I got an earlier version before I trusted anybody's advice. Oh my gosh, we love it. And let me tell you, that book that I submitted, free from the changes, was hardly even edited. What came out onto the market was they hardly even did anything to it. That was my intuition. That
So,
was
Sean,
what
yeah, I was
yeah,
just going
go
to say,
ahead.
why do you think that happened?
Because we are continually plagued with self-doubt, and self-doubt is the mark of an artist, and self-doubt is destructive. And it can also fortify you, because it keeps you humble if you embrace it. Self-doubt can be a superpower if you let it. Some of the greatest artists were the most self-doubting. To me, I love Norman Rockwell. I love the honesty of his work. He never painted anything that he really liked. He was just always doubtful that he had painted something really good. I don't mean self-criticism, which can also be good to some degree. I'm talking about doubt. I'm talking about unsureness. It's okay to embrace, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not sure in what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm believing that there's going to be enough passion and ethos in here that my heart will come through, and that something quality will come out into the world. Embrace your self-doubt, and in a way, but in another way, don't put more value into what other people think of you and what people are telling you about your work than what this is saying. You have incredible conduit toward the spiritual. You were created with that. You're hooked up. We're hardwired to know God, and he's talking to you all the time, and that is definite in your writing. And this relationship you have, that's all that matters. It's if you listen to too many voices, you'll write to please them. My wife has never read anything I've ever read, ever written before it's been published. And a lot of people, they let their spouse read it, they'll let their friends read it, and I can't let her read it. Because if I respect her so much, if she gives me any feedback, I'll follow it, and that will overshadow what I felt leading me. and B, it would cause a lot of problems if she didn't like what I wrote, because I think my ego would flare up pretty bad. So I think I defend our relationship a little bit in that regard.